Hello, everyone. I welcome you to another episode of Brief Talk, where I have with me a very special guest, Monique Alvarez, with me. How are you today, Monique?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, for those meeting you for the first time, could you share a little about who you are and what work you do?
Absolutely. So, like you said, I'm Monique Alvarez. I am a business consultant. I'm the founder of Alma Publishing, as well as the founder of Network Like the Rich. And basically, when it comes down to it, I'm a people person. I love connecting people. I love helping people make a lot of money. And the whole point of money is so that you can live a great life and you can take care of the people you love.
Well, that's absolutely great. So, Monique, I would like to start with how has motherhood shaped the way you view the process of loss of life and the work you do?
Whew, it's it's been so it completely changed everything, as one would imagine, and it sounds a little cliche, but before I had kids, I was a completely different person. And these are a few examples. So before I had two babies in 12 months, I was fully dedicated to my clients. Every one of my clients was my baby. We started off brick and mortar and local. So if somebody needed something, I'd drive to their business. I'd sit in their office. We'd go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We'd figure it out. And when I had the boys, all of that changed. My clients honestly didn't matter that much anymore. And what my boys taught me was how important it was to be efficient in my work. I was the opposite of efficient. I was highly inefficient. And I took all of my clients and I said, I'm not going to see any of you individually anymore. I'm going to put you all on one day in one Zoom call for 1 hour. And so I took this very full calendar and schedule and I worked 1 hour a week. And I found not only was I more effective, they got better results. And so my boys taught me to not waste time, to not waste energy, to not waste resources, and to prioritize. Of course, they became the top priority. Mm-hmm. And this just continued in everything that I did. I looked at everything through this lens. And after having the two boys, just maybe a year or two later, I got pregnant again with my third child, went full term. And I ended up giving birth to a sleeping baby, and I had a full-term stillbirth.
I'm so sorry.
And by this time, I had a very public profile. I had nearly 100,000 people following me on social media. They had went through this whole pregnancy. They're waiting for the announcement. And instead of me saying, we have a healthy baby girl, she's Angelina Athena Alvarez, I came on and I had to say, we lost the baby. And so in that, I learned what it means to be honest and real, mm-hmm. and to communicate even when it feels difficult to communicate, to put one foot in front of the other even when it's hard, and how to still let people in my life. Because I think that it was at that point I had the decision, do I disappear off the internet? Do I stop my business? Do I close everyone off? Do I wall up? Or do I continue to live the way I have, heart wide open? And that's what I chose.
Okay, so this gets me curious. Monique, were there moments where you felt like giving up? And if so, how did you get past it?
Definitely. The thing that I want to make very clear is any woman who's lost a child, she wants to give up. She actually wants to follow that child. She is going to contemplate suicide. And it's not necessarily that she wants to die or that she wants to leave her spouse or her children or her family or everything that she has. It's just that a mother will try to figure out how to be with all the people she loves. And when you're in grief and when you're in shock, your mind, it doesn't operate in the same way. The brain does not operate in the same way in grief. And so there's this magical thinking that happens like, maybe I could follow Nina and that would somehow be the best for my boys. And so I had many, many dark days. I say that losing Nina threw me into the deep end of the pool. I was in the dark for
Mhm.
a long time. And the way that I got through, honestly, it was one step at a time, one breath at a time. Oh, it's such baby steps when you're in grief. There are no big steps. There are just tiny little steps that are stacked on top of each other.
So, would you say that creativity plays a role in your healing? Did it play a role in
Yes,
you?
definitely. You know, it's interesting, but when I look back, there were two things.
Mhm.
Well, actually, I guess there's three that it was almost like they were forced on me, and I didn't appreciate it at the time because it felt so hard. But I see how it pulled me through another day and another morning and another afternoon and another night. I had these two little boys who have always woke up at the crack of dawn, like 5 in the morning, and they'd be staring at me and they'd ask me, Mama, what's for breakfast? And so cooking became something that I could do that helped me. It was almost meditative, and I was focused on, I've got to feed these boys, and they're hungry all the time. So I was constantly cooking. And then I thought, you know what if I learn how to make this? And what if I do that? And they would ask me about different things, or I'd get ideas. And so through cooking, and then they loved coloring. They were very little. And so we'd color together every day. And I found that coloring, same thing. It helped me lose track of the non-stop grief that just bangs at your door. And I could find pockets of stillness and silence and relief in coloring. And then because I continue to tell my story on social media, writing, that was actually when I committed to writing every single day.
Wow. Well, so for women who are grieving and trying to run a business, what advice would you give them to stay grounded?
Whew, I'm going to tell you it's challenging, and the reason why is because our clients hire us to help them,
Mhm.
and our clients, even if they know what's happened, even if they care about us, it's not their job to support us. And so what I would say is this, there's two important things. You have to know who and what is supporting you, because actually when I lost Nina, our business had just hit a crescendo. At that time, I had about 525 clients. I had a big mastermind. And so what I had to realize is that I have to go in there and support them. So to tell you the truth, this is what I did. I completely rearranged my schedule. I did not start with work on any given day. I started my day by making breakfast, coloring, going for a walk, doing all the things that helped me. And I actually pushed all my calls to the end of the day, which I had never done because I'm a morning person. So I thought, oh, I'll do all my work in the morning. I had this tradition. I would get ready for work at 4 o'clock. I would do my calls in the evening. And as soon as they were done, I'd go back, have, dinner and time with the kids and call it a day. My point is that even though you have to serve people and you have to do what you said you were going to do, I did not do that first because I found that wasn't helpful.
Mhm.
The other thing that I would say is this, is that when you're trying to keep a business going and you're trying to keep working, keep life together while you're going through loss and grief, you have to be aware that there's going to be things that set you off. And what I found is when I went through this, I couldn't handle any loss. It sounds crazy, but I remember this one day I was doing laundry, folding socks, and there was a missing sock, which that's just what socks do. They're just little jerks, right?
Yeah.
On any other day, it's like, who cares? It'll show up next laundry day or it won't. Like, we'll just throw it away. And this one day, this sock that I lost, it just sent me in a tailspin because I couldn't handle loss. I couldn't handle not, I couldn't handle something not going the way I planned. And so what I became mindful of is that if I lost a client, I needed to process it. I knew I needed a plan. If I lost an email, if I lost a sock, if something happened to the boys, if something set me off, I needed a plan for it because I couldn't handle normal everyday things the way that I used to be able to.
Oh. So, Monique, you have a publishing company also, and I would like to know what inspired you to start it and why you feel that helping women share their stories, like women like myself, we're so pumped up for sharing our story through your book that's coming out. So, how did you come up with this idea to help women share their stories?
Well, it wasn't my idea. Actually, it was totally inspired by my clients.
Okay.
So it was many years prior, we had a client who had asked us, would you help me write my book? Hey, would you help me write an ebook? When those were a thing. And at first, like I was very reluctant to. I tell them this isn't my specialty, but they would say, yes, but my business, my marketing. And so I think we did it like 4 or 5 times, sort of with this, like, this is just, we're making an exception for them because they won't take no for an answer. And it was in 2019 that I shared my story in a collaboration book. And when it came out, I realized, oh my gosh, why have I not figured this out? Like, so many people are asking me about this. I was writing for publications, I was getting published. And so it was just natural for my clients to say, hey, how did that happen? How can we do that? And so it was actually the first big thing I did after losing Nina. And I remember I was concerned about it. I was pacing on our porch, not sure, should I take something else big on? Maybe just getting through this is enough. But I made one announcement on social media. I thought, I'm going to throw it out there. And it's kind of like me saying, like, let this serve as confirmation. I did a post. And I went and took a nap with the boys. And when I woke up from my nap, we had almost completely sold out the first collaboration book.
Wow.
And that's when I realized that entrepreneurs wanted to tell their story and they wanted to do it in a way that was different than traditional publishing. And so we ran with it, and we've now published over 1,200 authors.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible. So, what role do you think that community or support networks play in anyone's healing process?
They're huge. And I'm just going to be honest, and I think everyone who's been through grief will agree with this, even though they might not say it out loud. You need supportive people. You cannot go through this alone, but I'm just going to tell you, most people cannot support you. They don't know how to support you. Even if they love you, they probably can't support you through major loss. And so what my recommendation is find 1, 2, or 3 people who can. And when people, for lack of, this isn't going to be the most soft way of saying it, but when people are idiots and when they're not supportive and when they say things that don't help and they do things that don't help, just, God bless them and put them aside. But you've got to distance yourself from the people who aren't supportive. It's really, really important. You have to do 2 things with community. You have to distance yourself from unsupportive people, and you have to put yourself in super close proximity to the people who are supportive. And what I learned during grief was how to ask for what I needed. I mean, I even got to the place where I would write stuff out on better days. Mm-hmm. So that on the bad days, I could say, hey, you're my person. Please remind me of, I wrote it out here. Remind me of this. Say this to me. I need to hear this today.
Okay. Wow. So I'm curious, Monique, through your publishing company, what kinds of transformations have you seen in women who shared their stories?
The thing of it is writing is so incredibly cathartic, and it's easy to say that and people nod their head. But once somebody does it, they go, holy cow, that was crazy. It helped, writing helps us make sense of our lives. Storytelling, this is why it's a pillar in every society and civilization, right? Because storytelling helps us make sense of our lives and it helps us connect to other people. So women walk away saying, holy cow, I haven't felt that much relief, that much clarity, that much healing happen. I also had no idea how many other people who have went through the same thing I did. I thought I was alone in this. I thought I was crazy or weird or whatever it is. And then in terms of business, storytelling, that was the ticket for me. When I came online, I committed to telling one story every day. And it led to hundreds and thousands of clients. And what I find is that when people are committed to telling their story, not being a good writer, not being a marketing expert, but just telling their story like they tell it around a campfire, like they tell it around a table, it will draw people in, plain and simple. And we've had people build 6, 7 figure businesses, get featured on podcasts and publications and media, because the truth of the matter is most people aren't willing to share their story. They're still ashamed about parts of it. They still feel like they wish that it was different, or they wish that they were perfect. And when you can do real, raw, honest storytelling, you are the most likable, lovable person.
That's true. That's true. So, looking back, is there anything you wish you had done differently in your grief journey?
I had a conversation with a friend about a year ago, and I said, I wonder how it would have been different if I would have shut down my business when I lost Nina. And I've kind of like went back and forth, would the right thing have been to stop everything and just take care of myself? Or would that have made it harder because I would have had all the time in the world to relive and rethink and rehash, woulda, coulda, shoulda? I think with grief, this is what the conclusion I've come to. I wouldn't change anything. And that's what grief has taught me. Some things happen and you can't change it.
Yeah.
Life has these moments that are just destiny. It's just written. It's just written. And really, the real thing is about how can I come to full acceptance?
That's so true. So hearing you talk about your journey like this makes me think that what have you learned about resilience both from your personal and professional experiences?
Whew, it's pretty incredible what the human spirit is capable of.
That's true. That is so true.
And I think every person underestimates who they are and how powerful they are. And sometimes life will give us these experiences to show us, listen, you have a rod of steel at your center, and there is nothing you can't handle.
Yeah, definitely. You're so true. So if I ask you to give one advice to anyone who's watching this video, what would that be?
If you're in grief, don't pretend you're okay. Don't pretend you're okay for anybody. Allow everyone to be uncomfortable in your presence. It's not your job. It's not your job when you're in grief. It's not your job to make other people comfortable or happy. You do not have to pretend you're okay. Do not do that. It will just extend it. It will just aggravate it. It will just put you in this place where you are tiptoeing for other people. When you're in grief, be with it. Don't pretend anything is other than it is. And I will tell you, it won't last forever. It will feel like it will. It will feel like you can never find the sunshine again. But I will tell you, the sun does come back out.
Wow, that is so powerful and so true, Monique. Thank you so much for sharing this. Okay, tell me, where can people find you or connect with you or learn more about your books and work?
Absolutely. So you can find me at almapublishing.co, and that has all the information about our publishing company, storytelling, and of course, I'm very active on social media over on Facebook under Monique Alvarez.
Okay. Thank you so much, Monique, for being here and sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the work that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us for this heartfelt conversation with Monique. I hope her story, wisdom, and journey have inspired you as much as they've inspired me. If you found value in this episode, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more real and honest conversations about grief and healing, and share this video with someone who might think they need to hear it today. Every like, share, and comment helps us reach more hearts that need support. So until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, you're not alone on this journey.